You hit exactly the right point. There is a word called as toxic positivity. And if you see in today's world, like wherever you go on the Facebook, there's a post, think positive, be positive. So what happens to those feelings, those parts within us that are not feeling good about, like they are feeling negative, and for whatever reason, maybe it's the way that you were brought up, or it's the situation that you were in, or the environment. There are like parts, like, if you imagine ourselves to be this puzzle, right? There are certain good parts, there are certain bad parts within us, and we only tend to look at the good parts, be with those good parts, feel those good parts, use those good parts, because we think those things are going to make us happy. But then these negative parts, these bad feelings, or whatever we call them, right? I mean, there's no good and bad, but I think it's the way we discern them. So these bad feelings, and the issue, Neha, here is, if you continue to suppress those negative emotions, negative feelings, negative thought processes, these can actually grow into physical symptoms. And I experienced those myself, and I can talk about it later on. They become like these contractions in the body, and then they can turn into physical symptoms. They can turn into anxiety, they can turn into depression, they can turn into emotional cutoff, being numb, disassociation syndrome. Like, sometimes you just disassociate yourself from what's happening, mind gets foggy. So now what we initially thought was a psychological problem starts becoming a physiological one, and you'll start feeling it like in your body. And I think you hit the right point about the toxic positive. I truly believe the reason why we suffer is very simple, very simple. We either push things away, push feelings away, push experiences away, or we grasp things, we grasp experiences, we grasp feelings. Very simple at the core of it, and that is what an ego does. That's what the little me does. That's what the little self, the self with a small s, that is usually spoken about in the spiritual world. That's what it does. So depression on one side, anxiety on the other side. And it was not just about past or future. What I learned was happening was I started questioning about my identity. Am I worthless? Will I be accepted? Will I be lonely? Will I be loved? What is my life now? Who am I now? Right? And that identity, when it hits, that's the most difficult thing. It was, sometimes you realize it was not about the arm, it was not about the situation. Now you begin questioning about your identity. Your whole survival is kind of questioned. And this fear of unknown was like literally tearing me apart, and my hand was not healing, nothing was happening. So, and you know what my background was, right? Like, my background was being this perfectionist, in control, and getting the things the way I wanted. On this side, I was vulnerable, a victim right now, and I didn't know what to do. I knew how to succeed in life, but I didn't know how to gracefully accept failure in life. I was in the final kind of coaching, which is not being talked about much in the industry. This is where the true spiritual journey begins, and this is called the journey of the spirit, or the awakening journey, or the awakening into your soul, wherein it's not about, there's nothing about self-development, there's nothing about fixing, there's nothing about improving, but then you fall into a different realm of going completely within. And now you're ready, and a lot of people who come into the suffering today are actually ready, but however, they go back into these mindset issues. They're actually in the tipping point in a very, very ripe way to take them beyond the self-development. However, they fall back into the self-development, the vicious cycle. Oh, it's like, I'm having an issue with my relationship. right? And it's like, or I'm not happy in my life. Instead of going to the next stage of diving deep within yourself into the soul, what we are told, oh, you're not happy because you need to clear certain blocks and go achieve certain things, or you need to find your passion, you need to find your calling. Right? I mean, we know it's and it's okay. It's okay to some extent to be there, but then people are just getting saturated in this whole thing, in this whole vicious cycle, and they are stuck after getting the right purpose. They're stuck after getting the right soulmate, like getting the right calling, right job, and that's where it is. And then people, when they're ready, they can fall back to the final path, which is the going with it. And I teach a technique and how to get people to adopt this. I teach a method called as the reset, and RESET.